everywhere. All right, we got to re-rack. I cut that out. All right.
No, leave that in. Leave that in.
Damn, it's too bad. I got the program, bro.
That's crazy. Oh man.
All right, so the Browns go in. They play the Las Vegas Raiders this weekend. I honestly think this team's going to be better on the road than at home for a little while here. And I think they kind of need to get away from Cleveland, not just because like the fan base is kind of in a crazy place right now with the quarterback, but also I just think this team needs to spend time together and away from all of this that's going on right now. Now, again, that happened last year. They did this with the LA trip, and that didn't end up working well. They lost 2 of those games on that West Coast road trip. But maybe it'll work out better for them. Another interesting stat here, Kevin Stefanski, I don't think he's won on the Pacific time zone as a head coach in the NFL yet. He lost to the Chargers. Both times they went out to LA, and then the one time they went to San Francisco, right? So this has been a uphill battle for Kevin Stefanski winning on the West Coast. They play the Raiders. Raiders have a win over Baltimore, but that's their only win, I believe, in this season. They just came off of a loss to Carolina. What do you see in this game being the most important factor? And do you think the Browns can win this one, Cole?
I mean, the most important factor for all their games is going to be how the offense performs going forward. I mean, statistically, the worst offense in the NFL. It was the Carolina Panthers until they put Andy Dalton back there, and now it's Cleveland Browns. So, is the offensive line going to protect better? Is the quarterback going to process more quickly? Is he going to get the ball out faster? Are they going to be able to sustain drives? What the hell is going on with the running game? Because my God, it's all bad. It's all bad right now.
The one thing with the line that I have not heard enough people point out, it was bad against Dallas. It was bad against New York. It was fine against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, again, it's one thing to point that out. It's another thing to ask this question. Why is that the case? Why was it not that bad versus Jacksonville? One, Jacksonville didn't blitz as much as those other 2 teams did. So that, to me, would suggest that a lot of the issues with the offensive line have to do with simple numbers, right? We got 5, they got 6. I understand that it seems like the line is struggling, and they are. They're not having great individual efforts. This is not 2020 that they're in. And there are times where they could support their quarterback better. But we really do have to have a serious conversation about what the quarterback's responsibilities are, especially when you're running lighter protections. Which brings me to this question, because I know where I'm at on this, but I'm interested to see where other people are. What's your leash for Deshaun Watson in order to justify him being out there still? Like, at what point in your mind does it become extreme enough to do something, or that it becomes necessary enough in your mind to do something as extreme as benching your $45 million a year quarterback?
What I said on Twitter when I was thinking about this was this: you give it to the Commanders game, and then you go from there. You know what I mean? It may change depending on how he looks against the Raiders. And listen, I know there's no like transitive property in the NFL. Like just because one team beats a team doesn't mean that your team can beat the team can beat that same team. It's a week to week league. Things change every week. Strategy change every week. But I would be remiss if I did not point this out. Andy Dalton, 36-year-old, going on 37-year-old Andy Dalton, just threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Las Vegas Raiders. If this team continues to look like the worst offense in the NFL, at some point you got to start asking yourself some hard questions about what's going on here.
But we've been at, I think, the questions part with this whole Watson thing for at least a week or two. When does it turn into something has to be done? Right. I think some people think maybe the bye week. There are some people who think that you should just do it now, but I think that you can't do it now with how much he's being paid, right? Like you gotta at least give this, I think, till what I think the earliest you can do this and justify it is week 7 going into week 8, right? When you start division play.
My only issue with that is that like I would rather Jameis get a couple games before we have to start playing division rivals. You know what I'm saying? I feel like throwing him in there in his first games against the Steelers or the Ravens, the Bengals, I feel like that's not the
Well,
greatest.
he played last year, right? Like this isn't him coming off of a delay. He's a veteran. He's been in this situation before. And I think if you can put the signals out to him right now, hey man, we might go to you, right? He's going to do what he needs to do to be prepared whenever you put him in. I don't see this like a DTR where DTR does not have games played. The thing about Jameis is 30 and Jameis played in a million games in his career, right? He was a full-time starter from 2013 to 2019.
Something
And
like
then
that.
he got another chance to start in 2022. Jameis has started enough games to where I'm not really concerned about giving him a warm-up game. Honestly, you would probably benefit from not doing it because then they would be less prepared for how you would run with the Jameis Winston, right? Like even Jacoby Brissett, who did need a little bit of a warm-up game, did not play anywhere close to the amount of games that Jameis Winston has had. So I don't think that should be a consideration for the team. If it was DTR, I would get it. But let me look up on PFR how many games exactly Jameis Winston has played. And I think it's like a pretty large amount here. Yeah, Jameis has played in 95 games.
Woo! Jeez.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So and he's thrown for over 20,000 yards and over 140 touchdowns in his career. Right. So you're not.
How many picks really quick? Just how many picks? Just
I
facts.
believe he's above water. But he's 61% completion percentage, 99 picks. So his next pick will be his 100th. How fun is that?
That's hilarious. That is
But
hilarious.
to be fair for Jameis, right? Since that 30 for 30 season, his touchdown to interception ratio has been 20-11. So it's not like an amazing touchdown interception ratio. But keep in mind, like half of those games are from when he just kind of came in and clean up duty, like unexpectedly, because somebody got hurt or something like that. The one year where he got like a full chance to start, he was 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
That's really good.
Yeah. So I think there is that you can lean on. That's why Jameis is there, right? If it comes down to it, you can lean over to Jameis and be like, hey, understand you might start. And I think that flips how Jameis prepares from, oh, yeah, I'm just a backup to, oh, yeah, I might play. And I don't know if those signals have been sent to Jameis Winston yet. I think we're just speculating on this. But that is something they always have the option to do.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where it's like I'm interested. I'm really interested to know how they think about it or how they're perceiving this right now. Because let's just worst case scenario here. You get smacked up by the Raiders. Worst case scenario. Not saying this is gonna happen, but let's just hypothetically consider this. If it's so bad, like if it looks like the Dallas game, right? How can you tell that team we gonna stay with the same quarterback going forward? How do you do that? I don't have
Yeah.
the answer. I'm asking how do you do that?